All right, and we're live.
Hello.
To make sure I have it on mute real quick. I'm like pressing all the wrong
I got the
buttons.
notification. This is twice in a row I've got the notification immediately.
Yay!
That's perfect. Like,
So we are here today to celebrate my book launch of
yay!
Unknown Love. I'm so excited. Which is weird because, like I was saying the other night, it's not technically my first book, but the one I actually am proud of all the way through. And don't say, yeah, but there's issues.
Yeah, but I mean, it's your first self-published project, so and it's your
Yeah.
first book in your relaunching yourself, so it counts as a first experience.
Yeah. I was
Um,
asking somebody the other day. I was like, does that make me a first time? Yeah, probably not. But we're gonna call it that anyway.
yep, definitely. I mean, I got it this morning at about, I don't know, 7 a.m. So because I pre-ordered it, so and I was like, oh wait, is this today? Because I was post stream, so post stream I make no sense. I was like, what's this? Oh yeah, it's today. It's not tomorrow because it's already tomorrow. It's dumbass.
I thought today was the 26th.
Yeah, she was already 2 weeks ahead for whatever reason.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Oh god.
Oh, and then last night I was telling Jazz that for whatever reason my dumb self, because it would only be me that does this, when I hit the review button or publish button or whatever for 72 hours
Mhm.
ago, I forgot to switch the publishing date till today. So on
Oh,
Wednesday, when I hit the button, it only took 6 hours for it to approve, and so I had to hit unpublish really, really quick.
oh
So
wow.
yeah, so right after our stream last night, I hit the publish button, and I was freaking out that then it would probably take 72 hours, and then today, like my book, the physical book, wouldn't launch, and it'd be
Oh wow.
horrible. I was like so paranoid. I didn't sleep at all last night. I tried. I'd sleep for like 30 minutes, and then I'd be up for an hour, and then check it again, and 30 minutes.
Yeah, but it worked in the end, so we're good.
Yeah,
Like
and then
we're
like
totally good.
you said we weren't streaming. I was like, that's when it popped up and said it like came up and it was live, and I was like, okay, now I'm going back to bed. Like I need sleep.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like I had my entire day planned out. Like it was supposed to be all great, and I should do the stream and be all happy. And then I completely miscalculated. I left home for grocery shopping way too late. I don't understand what the hell I was thinking. I mean, I know what I did. I was so out of it because I was tired that I confused my start time for this stream with my start time for the Friday stream with Travis and everyone for the role playing thing,
Mm.
which starts at 6. So I was like, as long as I'm home by 6, it's fine. And then I was like, oh no. Oh no. Shit. And I only realized that when you messaged me, by the way. And after that, I messaged CJ really fast. And then Sarah, like 15 past,
Just probably
past
still, you know.
past 5, she was like, oh, I just woke up. And I was like, oh shit, sorry, I did not think of messaging you because you were doing other things. And she was like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure, tell that to some other person. I will try not to worry about it. Of course, all of this was a conversation in my head. I was like, only me, only like, oh, so to comment on your earlier comment, because that makes it, that's a phrase that an author should use. It's not only you. It's never just you doing shit like that. So it's fine.
I was just like, I felt so stupid, and yet I was like, be smart and
Yeah,
do one thing.
it's all good.
Well,
Don't worry about it.
and to my I guess for anyone that is thinking about self-publishing through KDP, there are so many things that once you hit that save and publish button, you can't change. So make sure you check everything before you hit that button.
Yeah, that's
It
good
changes.
advice.
Yeah, I did not realize. Like, I thought it would take a lot of stuff away, but not as much as it actually did. So
Yeah, no, it's pretty much like it does what you tell it to do, and if you're not careful,
yeah,
I mean, it's not a sentient being. That's the major lesson. It's not a sentient being. So if you got something wrong, it won't tell you.
yeah,
You'll figure it out on your own, probably a bit late.
yeah.
You
Lesson
know.
learned for the next book.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It's fine. I mean,
Reaching out the next time.
Yeah. Well, and I think I just, like I said, I forgot about the whole calendar part because technically I've had all of my words and like all the boxes filled in for like a good year because I've been working on the formatting for the ebook, which took forever to come across and come out right. And so all that was there. So I had totally forgot. Like, I was like, okay, let me make sure everything's good. And then click. I was like, oh, crap.
well, you still sorted it out, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
It's a good thing it didn't take the full 72 hours. So we have 2 books on launch day. We have the ebook and we have the paperback.
That's awesome.
Super excited. And hopefully they print and come out right, because me and Jazz were talking about the thing I did in one of my videos, talking about you have to allow like 1/8 of an inch between what the previewer says it will print and what it will actually print.
Okay.
Because none of my proofs came out the way the previewer said they would. So I got it as close as possible, and hopefully it doesn't screw up and look bad for anybody.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be fine.
I added a lot of room for error on this one, so it should look pretty and be great for everybody. And I'm super excited, though.
It's good that you do all this, because when I'll have issues with my paperbacks, I can come to you and cry, because I'm so behind with paperbacks. It's not even funny anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever.
I can help you
I'll
with
get it all.
paperbacks, and you can help me with covers because you're getting good at them. They look pretty.
Thanks. I mean, it's still a struggle. I still have a lot of terrain to cover. But I mean, I'm thinking in about a year I should be okay with doing whatever cover I want. The thing is that these covers that I'm doing for Just Don't have a clear format, because they're in the same series, so there's a lot of carryover in terms of positioning and stuff. I just have to find different backgrounds and different models and do all the cutout work. But the moment I get into other series that I work on covers for, I'm not as comfortable, because this is my 5th one. Like, it's gotten easier. So, and I have to divide my time between actually making the covers and learning more about how to make covers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a slow going process, but I enjoy it, and I swear to God, I get lost in it and I forget how long I've been at it. Because the other day when I was working on the last cover you've seen, I spent like 4 hours straight on that and did not realize it. I kind of realized it when my stomach kind of reminded me, like, you should try nourishment once in a while. We hear food is good for you. Give it, bitch.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah. So once you get past the initial frustration of learning all these things, you kind of get swept into it, and you know.
Well, I
Just
did what you said, and I watched oh Lord, what's his name? The YouTuber. I keep
Derek
wanting.
Murphy.
Yeah, to say I know it
Mm.
starts with a D, but I was wanting to say the wrong word.
Yeah.
I watched him and learned how to make the ebooks on like Word, but then I want to learn Photoshop, so I think I'll probably do like some Skillshare classes and see what else is out there and just
Yeah, I
spend some time and
mean,
learn.
I found this guy on YouTube. I have him. I'm subscribed on my art channel. That's specialized on Photoshop, and when it comes to photo manipulation, he has some really cool tutorials, like things like putting a head on a body and then merging them so they look nice. Quick videos on effects, a lot of stuff. And they are pretty good. And Derek Murphy actually has an entire video, but you have to slow it down because it's sped up a lot. An entire video of him making an urban fantasy cover.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool because Derek Murphy, I mean, he has a lot of videos on covers, and he's the first person I've encountered who actually said that your cover should fit your genre.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're super famous, you can do whatever the hell you want with your cover. That's fine. But if you're not, you have to communicate genre to your buyers because most of them will just see the cover first and they will gravitate towards it based on what the cover tells them. And most authors and publishers are really good at communicating genre through covers. You can be inventive and creative with your cover, but it should fit the genre. Otherwise, there are a lot of cases where people just buy the book thinking it will be that genre, and they don't necessarily read the blurb, and then you get those reviews that I bought this book thinking it was something else, and everybody's like, oh, it's your fault. Not really, because if your book communicates a certain genre, that's a marketing thing you do and you can improve on. And I think readers react like that because Amazon has trained them to react like that. And online retail in general has trained them to react like that. They know what they're looking for. They know how to pick what they like based on the cover they see. And if they like the cover and the title and sort of skim the blurb without paying much attention, 9 times out of 10, they get the book they want. So, yeah,
I think everybody's been taught to trust their first impression, and sometimes it's not exactly what you should do.
Yeah, and I mean,
like the cover doesn't matter, but it does. Like everybody's like, don't judge a book by a cover. I'm like, that's the first thing I see. Like you're automatically judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, but that was the saying for when you would go into a bookstore and browse through books and look at the covers and then read the blurb and skim through them and see if you like the writing and stuff like that, which is not how we shop now. Now we've learned to be quick and effective. And the truth is that the style of the title, the style of the series name, and the cover and the blurb, they all communicate a lot more than they used to communicate before. And again, if you get popular enough, nobody will care. They'll buy for your name.
Yeah, they'll find your name and just grab. And that's, I don't know, with the romance genre, you always see either a man or a man and a woman. So that's probably the easiest to me genre.
Well, yeah, but it depends on the subgenre because there's subtle differences between sci-fi romance and paranormal romance and contemporary romance and everything. And people know how to tell those genres apart because, you learn to be efficient, which is, I'm not seeing it as a bad thing. And I mean, you can just rage at the state of things and go like, oh my god, they don't read the blurb, they buy based on the cover. You can rage at it, or you can create a genre specific cover, see which works best. I mean, and I had that experience with Lover's Journey actually, because my covers for Lover's Journey were very different because this is a romance series, but it's a coming of age story as well. So I wanted it to be more of a moody cover. I still have, like, the first Dawn to Dusk cover is still my background, like my computer background for the main laptop screen. That book did not sell well. because it didn't look like a gay romance book.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that well known, and I wasn't self-publishing much back then. So then I made the executive decision of altering the covers, which now do better, and they did better after I changed the covers. And I mean, at some point in the future, when I'm super popular, I'll probably revert to the old ones, but maybe not, because I'm kind of, I'm committed.
Partial to.
Sorry?
I said probably whichever one you're more partial to.
Yeah, I think no, because now I have like 3 books in the series, and I plan a 4th one, just because I can't say no to a challenge. And when a reviewer says there's no way they can ever like a character, I'm like, oh, I'm going to redeem this bastard and make you love him so that you can suffer. Because I'm mean. I'm a mean person, apparently. I'm horrible. If you didn't know that about me, now you know. So yeah, I mean, at that point I'd have to go back to the old covers and then redo all my new covers, and let's face it, that's probably not happening. Because who has the time for that? I mean, oh Jesus, like and
yeah,
I complain
words to do that.
Yeah.
And more than 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
There's not enough time.
And I mean, covers are a tricky thing, and now I've saved like so many illustrations for a potential cozy mystery series that's so far down the line you can't even imagine. But I found it, and I like the style because it's kind of cartoonish, like all cozies are, but in a more like a sort of a watercolor style that has some parts of fashion sketches a bit.
Oh, cool.
Like it's a cool blend, and it's kind of within the genre, but not. So I thought, oh, cool, that works. Because I mean, you expect if you're thinking of cozy covers, you usually think of a cartoonish main character on the cover with some props or whatever, and they're all very illustration heavy. And I was like, okay, I could do that. So yeah, but let's face it, people, that book won't, the first book in that series won't be out until, if I'm lucky, at the end of this year. So that's why I don't have time for anything, because I'm an idiot.
See, you're out of us 3, you're the only normal one here because you actually sleep. So
yeah,
well, yeah,
but we're done and sleep, and we don't.
Yeah, but I do not have a day job, so it's a bit different. It's different, and it's not that I'm so normal because I can do things better than you. It's just that I don't have a day job, so I have less to juggle.
Well, you have more free time to do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, like.
And I mean, jazz has school, like that eats up a lot of time. Let's face it.
Yeah.
And it's not like she's in college and she can go like, I'll take a year off and write. It's not like that.
Right.
She's still doing school that she's legally required to do if she wants to do anything nice afterwards. So yeah, I'm just here with my dog. I mean, yeah, I think I work a lot of hours, but because I work in just one direction, it's slightly easier to manage. And the reason why things go crazy for me is because I keep adding to that plate. I mean, I added covers and I couldn't stop there. I added my art things because I want to create my own characters, because stock photos drive me nuts. So plus, I do want to look into visual novels in the future. That's something I want to tackle. And let's face it, I'll never be able to do the coding. Mike will do that. But I could do the character design, and I could write my own visual novels. So yeah, I
haven't found a picture you've drawn or painted or colored yet that I don't like. So you're well on your way.
Thank you.
Doing good on that. I couldn't draw a stick figure and make him look good. So
Things.
yeah,
I
me,
mean,
I can't do a purple anything.
the thing is that a lot of it is practice. A lot of it with art, with what I can do now. And just finding the right motivation, because there are a lot of cool art people on YouTube that I can watch and be like, oh my God, it's so pretty. I want to do that too. And a lot of really good tutorials for beginners. And I did a lot of Skillshare too. Yeah. But the thing I did best was get a lot of art supplies. Because that's addictive, man. Like, yeah.
you with art supplies is like me with physical books. I need them all. I need them all.
And me
Yeah,
with notebooks.
I'm trying now to go through all the notebooks I have.
Give them all to me.
Jazz will take them all.
Yeah, no, I don't have that many left. Like, it's the ones that weren't all that pretty, and I was like, whenever I run out of everything, I'll use these. So I'm down to those, which is kind of interesting. But I did get like a couple, maybe 3 or 4 sketchbooks. Yeah. Because I need to always hoard something. As for paperbacks, I do not buy many. And I kind of fell out of my own habit of buying paperbacks because everything I read for a long time was in English. And a few years back, like 5 or 6 or 7 years back, when I started having Kindle, when I got my first one, it was really difficult to get books from the US delivered here. It kind of doubled the price on any book I wanted.
Yeah, that's not nice.
And it took forever. I had to wait about a month to just double the price per book. And then I discovered Kindle. And first of all, I could buy a lot of books. I could carry it around without worrying that I don't have enough books wherever I was going for however long I was going. And I discovered backlit screens, which were like, I can't go back from that. I really just can't. So that's it. I do whatever paperbacks I acquire, I just acquire at writing conventions so that people can sign them for me. I don't read them. I usually already own the ebook and I read that, but I also have the signed version, which is, yeah, I mean, it's strange, I know, but
I've got almost, I say almost, I've got almost to where I only buy my top 3 authors that I love. But then I'm like, okay, well, I want to start a bookshelf that's like all indie authors. And
yeah.
so I told Jazz, I was like, okay, you're going to buy them first so you can read them, and then I'll Kindle edition them, and if they're good enough, then I'll buy them after I move.
Yeah, with indies, the reason why I prefer to buy ebooks is because I know an indie author will make more off an ebook than a paperback.
Yeah.
They make more money. Like, you pay like a third of the price, but the author makes more money. And so I can support more if I buy a lot more ebooks. And I do buy a lot of indie books. Well, most of the books I buy are indie authors, because for all the mainstream authors, I usually get them on Scribd,
Yeah.
which is a subscription thing. Or I sometimes buy the ebook too, but most times I invest all my money in indies, and it's not a small sum. Probably why I put myself on book buying ban so often. And over time, it adds up. Like, it adds up to quite a bit of an investment.
Well, and the more authorship gets bigger and new authors come on and you get to know them and get to know the books, then of course it'll get bigger. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm friends with well, really large number of authors on Facebook and stuff, and I've been networking there for a long time. So I was buying a lot of indie books before AuthorTube was a thing for me personally, not AuthorTube in itself. So I kind of got into the habit of supporting my fellow indies. Plus, if it's in genres I enjoy, it's not just because I support them, it's because I kind of binge read the books.
Right.
And it's also, as we know, good for you to read books in your genres and in other genres as well, because it makes you better at things like, you know, marketing and writing and all that good stuff.
And then if it's nice, if you know the author, you can hound them about books that aren't out yet that you really want the next one for.
If you ask anything about the flyer book, I'm going offline.
Well, I wasn't necessarily talking about you and me, but like you with Claire and me with you.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just warning you because it's great when I get to do it to other people.
Turnabout fair play.
But yeah, the Karma is, as we all know, a bit of a bitch. Not gonna lie. So yeah, but no, I totally get what you mean, and it's not just that you can hound them. It's like the quick access to, like release dates and everything. When stuff is out, you just find out faster. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, and for you and Claire, who like it's your full-time job, and y'all come out with multiple books a year, it's easier to be able to expect a book out sooner, and so you're more excited about it. Whereas, like, I'm gonna have one a year. Like, I think I'm just gonna make February my release date, and as long as I stay a book ahead, that should be good. If life will figure in moving and still stay ahead. So
yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying.
Because, like, this one was, Unknown Love was 113,000 words finished. And Unknown Family is written and first edited. And it's at 107,000. So we'll see what it's at after drafts and beta reading. And
yeah, mine are never that long. So I think my max is about 70,000 words, which is a lot less. So there's that.
And I know Unknown Revenge, the retyping of that, it is less. I'm not sure. I'm only halfway through retyping it, or revising it, so I don't know what it is. But I know it was substantially a smaller book, so.
Do you think you're going to stick with the series? Or do you think you're going to, like, branch out? Or are you just going to be like me and have, like, the same series forever?
I think eventually I'm going to have multiple series going on, because I kind of have two ideas for an entirely different series. Like, not paranormal at all. Somebody on Twitter gave me an idea for something, and I want to try to branch myself out on that. But I'm also just still going to have this every year, this series.
If you want to have my very unsolicited advice, I recommend getting all your series further on before you start something new. Take it from someone who started a lot of series that currently have like a couple of books out, or 3 max, or just the one. And it doesn't help you because in theory you have all the backlist, but because there aren't as many in the series, it's harder to cross sell. And I've seen that with Just Don't, which is, I've already released 4 books into it, and it was fast paced as well, the release. It did pretty great. I was in the black, at least on paper, because I hadn't been invoiced. But I was kind of in the black before the 4th book was released. So with the editing for the entire series, I was still in the black with income and stuff. But this is all on paper because, as we know, Amazon pays like 2 months after the fact. But at least it did well. And other books, I mean, I could get in the black relatively fast with the book that was released, but with an entire series without the actual last book being released, it didn't happen before. So it's kind of cool. And Claire says that too, like the further she got into the Charlie series, the better the series itself did. Of course.
Yeah.
That's if it's not a series that flops, and pretending like there is no chance of a series flopping is the author equivalent of hiding your head in the sand or something. So
no, I've got like, just based on what the redoing of Unknown Revenge and then this book and what I've got written, I've got 5.
That's good.
Yeah, and the series that somebody gave me an idea of is gonna be, I don't know, it's something totally different. So it's of course something I want to outline in detail before I actually try to write it.
That makes sense.
Because it kind of touches on things that are happening today as well. So I kind of want that to also have passed, so people don't link things with what's going on today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely be at least 4 books in before I even think about fully beginning to write this one.
Yeah, makes sense.
So far, I have 14 books planned for this series. So
if you go just based off like the Excel spreadsheet I have and the characters I have so far, I've got like, I think 12 books, like the characters planned out for, and then like 70 titles that I could eventually use.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, coming from someone like me who struggles with titles so badly, that's pretty freaking awesome.
Well, thanks to you, I got the idea of like starting on Earth and starting the series there, but then eventually it will go into space and you will get more sight of, their home in space in Ava Karina. Get to know a little bit more about the primordial gods. So the series,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it can scope from Earth to space and back. I mean,
that's always something nice to play with. Fair warning, that's not the easiest marketing proposition because I had to market a book that's a dystopian post-apocalyptic sort of thing, along with something that's more of a space opera, and they're in the same series.
But you did so well with Flyer Chronicles, like transitioning it. It made me think I could do it. So
try. The writing thing that works. Marketing the books, then it can get a bit tricky. But if you've already established an audience, it's slightly easier.
Yeah, that'll be
definitely
book 9 in. So we got to get all the characters and couples established before that goes.
Yeah, no, that works well. If you have them established and you already have an audience for the series who know what to expect and the fact that it's going into space, it's easier. But and I mean, it depends. If the events are related, your main marketing focus will be on the first book and then making sure they keep reading through.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't matter that they're in slightly different subgenres.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right. I mean, like each book, I still want to be a standalone book, but have an overall scoping series where you can actually read them in order and see the stuff happening. So as long as I keep that in mind the entire time, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, definitely.
But because like the cover on this one is the male main character Torin, and then in the background you see just the silhouette of a girl with stars on her, and And it's kind of foreshadowing to me, and I love that it's a detail you don't even know about until the end of the book, where she turns into something and you see stars just shooting out over her, and I love the visual. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
hopefully I can do that with every book cover to kind of give the people who continue to read like a foresight, be like, I wonder where that's going to come up at. So
yeah, no, I totally get it.
So now I just got to find the challenge becomes finding the cover image that I have in my head for Unknown Family. So, and making it still look like a romance.
And making it look like they're part of a series.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. I don't know, because like this one, the whole background is the space, the Ava Karina. So I don't know. I gotta find something that's gonna tie every book together. Since Amazon likes to cut the corners off stuff. Well, the original idea was to have them all come together. Like this book has like a blue line here, and it had one on top. This is one of my bad first copies, and it got cut off. And so that was gonna be like a theme for every book, was just to have like that on the top and bottom, and you know, each book character was gonna have their own theme color, and that was kind of how I was gonna go with it. But Amazon likes to cut stuff off, so
I'm sorry about that.
So I had to come up with something else, and I haven't decided yet.
I mean,
there's more to this than people think.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's just so easy, and it's really not. My grandmother, okay, she's the one that I'm always talking about that doesn't understand how it's not out already and how much work is actually put into it. And then I just seen her a couple of days ago, and she was like, "Everybody's been asking about you," and then when I told them I haven't seen you all year, by the way, it's only February. They were like, "Why?" They were like, "She's just so busy with her book, and it's not as easy as it seems, and there's like a lot of work." And I was like, "Finally, you understand."
Sometimes I wonder if they understand or they just have heard us say it enough. They're like, okay, I'll just go with that line.
Yeah, I was like, do you really understand, or if I just said it so much, you just assume it's true?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like as long as they accept it, they don't even, other people don't even have to understand it. As long as they accept it's hard work and it takes time. I mean, yeah.
I think people think because it's an indie book that like it must magically put itself together.
Yeah, and I think that's because like there is a lot of self-published books I've read in the past that like it just seems like they published their first draft. So I think when a lot of people hear that you're self or indie publishing, they just assume that it can just happen in like 2 months. And
yeah, but that's not been the case, at least not for successful authors, in a very long time. I mean, Jesus, I was recently listening to this audiobook that's a gay mystery, and I've been trying to read and listen to a lot more mysteries because I'm working on my mystery series. And pretty much, if you read between the lines, the only way you can publish 13 novels a year is if you're really bad at it, or you hire ghostwriters, and the quality inevitably sinks. And I was like, dude, I know how many books you have out. Shut up. That's not how it works. Not how it works, and you know it. I mean, you get better at doing that work faster. You develop shortcuts for a lot of things, but at the end of the day, if you count the hours, it's staggering. It's why I started to actually track my editing by hours, because I used to just shove that under the rug and go only by my word counts. And then I realized that's not healthy. You have to track everything, the marketing you do, the editing you do, the formatting, all of that takes time and effort. And I mean, beyond the fact that it makes me feel more productive, it also kind of reminds me how much work goes into that book and why I should price books a certain way, and why I should expect to be paid for my books, like that bit out there. But I think most of the biases against indie publishing are kind of dated at this point, and most of them are out of ignorance or malice. And I think it's also because there's a lot of content out there from people, I mean, at least on AuthorTube, because in any other communities that I spend time in, it's more about a lot of work and a lot of marketing strategies and a lot of money invested in your author career. But there's this sort of way of thinking that people go to self-publishing because they can't get a traditional deal and they're taking the easier route out. And that's so flawed to me most times, because since when is indie publishing easy? I mean, if you just don't care, if you just write a book, do a self-edit, slap a cover that looks like shit, and don't even bother to format it, just upload the Word doc on Kindle, because that does most of the job for you. Sure, it's easy. Well, after you finish writing the book, let's face it, that's not easy. But most people don't approach it that way. Most people think a lot about whether they should self-publish or not, and they have enough information to know what they're getting into. Sure, they don't find that information on AuthorTube, maybe, because AuthorTube is not about that. Most authors have more writing advice than anything. Which is why I think channels like Joanna Penn's and Chris Fox are so valuable, because they're more focused on the business, and it's why I try to focus more on that, on how I relaunched series and building an author newsletter and things like that tend to pertain to marketing and the business aspect, and generally treating being an author as your career. And yeah, if you look anywhere outside of YouTube, you realize pretty fast there's a lot of work concerned. And I mean, when I get tired of all this, I'm just like, why don't I submit this to a publisher? I mean, I'd lose all control, and I'd have no say in the covers and my publishing schedule, but damn, so much less to worry about on my end.
Yes or no to something and call it good.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to do my edits and do some promotion, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to worry about finding stock photo, finding a direction for the series as a unit, and then finding an artistic direction for each cover and worrying about every single detail myself. Like, whatever. Take my royalties and do it. But then I'm like, I remember how bad it was to not have access to my real-time sales data and not being able to draw conclusions on everything I did for marketing and its impact. Like, I didn't know. I could just roughly estimate based on how my Amazon rank would fluctuate. But that's not always an accurate way of measuring things. Not if you don't have the backend, I mean. So, yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm not saying publishing traditionally is easy, especially if you're just starting out. But after you've been with a publisher and you could go to a different similar publisher with no problem, it's just a question of choices. Then
Yeah.
again, I'd never go through an agent to a big publisher because, let's face it, way less royalties, way less control. When you work with a smaller publisher, they usually kind of take your opinions and your suggestions into account for everything, including covers. So that's also. Hi, doggy. Aris would like to congratulate you on your new book, and also he has some ideas about self-publishing that he would like to express, but you should all start to mind read to understand them. Right, babe? But he's got even better tips on how to chase cats.
I was just watching him walk in the background. Like, eventually he's gonna come bug Mama.
Yeah, I mean, duh. It's like his mission in life. He's already been outside this evening because I took him outside before your stream started, so he's well fed. He should be happy and he should go to bed, but no. Because Mama's on the stream, so let's bug the shit out of her, because why not?
He's too cute, you know, I'll forgive him.
Yeah, the thing is that, I mean, he gets away with a lot of things because he's cute. Let's face it. That's the reality of it. Also, he gets away with a lot of things because you can no longer see him exposing himself when he does it from this angle.
Yeah, better angle now.
Much better.
When I first started writing this book, I had thought about going traditional, and when I went to what was it? It was a Colorado convention for writers, and I guess face-to-face queried 3 different agents, and they all said that they liked the idea, and at the time they were right, it wasn't well planned out and thought out. And then when I actually got to researching the differences and things like that, I was like, well, you know, at least I got the right feedback from them. I know I'm on the right track. And then I got to looking at what they control versus what I would control, and I was like, you know, I like having control way too much to give up that much.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is a question of personality more than anything.
Yeah. And whether you're able or willing to wear that many hats.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Because, I mean, you don't have to know to do anything other than writing, to be honest. All you have to know is how to coordinate people and how to find good people to work with. Because starting out, most of us have had not so great relationships with editors, or they thought they were great and then they realized maybe it wasn't the best edit ever, things like that, you know. But you learn those things. So the idea that you have to know how to do everything yourself in terms of like formatting and covers and stuff, not necessarily true. If you have some budget, you can do it, and you don't have to spend like $5 million to get a book published. I mean, I'm sorry, some of the numbers I've been hearing on AuthorTube for publishing a book are mind-blowing, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why? I mean, if I had that budget, I'd invest like 80% of it in ads, like AMS, paid newsletters, Facebook, things like that. But what was I saying? I was trying to say something, and then I got derailed by the whole numbers thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't have to do them all. Like, you don't have to be able to do your own covers and your own formatting and stuff like that. It helps if you're sort of inclined in any of these directions to learn, because it saves you money and it makes it faster. It just, I mean, beyond the money aspect, it's just that you can do it on your own schedule and you have less people to factor in your schedule for releases. But that said, you do have to know what to ask. And I think not a lot of authors are aware of that. Like, not a lot of authors know what to ask from a cover designer.
Yeah, they just have
And
like a thought and say go for it.
yeah, in that aspect, it has to be a genre specific book. If you're thinking of writing a series, the books should look like they're part of the same series. And I've seen cases where that's not happening. And in most of those cases, if those authors get any sort of traction, later on you'll notice that they change their covers, they kind of align their marketing and things like that. So people learn. I think at this point we're like in the best time to self-publish, because there's a lot of information already out there, so you can do things right from the start. And I've seen it happen with a lot of authors who just start with one series, fast release, rapid release the first 3 books, and then they're making money already. They don't have to struggle for years until they make some money publishing, which is cool. It's cool because now all the information is out there. Like 5 or 6 years ago when I started, I don't remember. I think it was 5. Yeah, 5 and change. There wasn't that much information. There just wasn't.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did.
It was
10 years ago, and there was nothing.
Yeah, no, 10 years ago it was even worse. But 5 years ago, I mean, it's not that there didn't exist any. It's that it was less accessible, and you needed to know what to look for specifically to find it, because it was less prevalent and less in your face. Now, like researching stuff like that, it's a lot easier. There are books that are really good, entire series on it. There are groups that are dedicated to the business aspects and marketing aspects, because I feel like 5 years ago, most groups were about the craft and critiquing and things like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's mostly critiquing.
So now it's pretty cool because you have all this information, these pieces that you can puzzle together. You have them all, and you can do well from the start, which is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I pulled the plug on Unknown Revenge, because like I said, 10 years ago there was pretty much nothing to help you out, and at the time, libraries only carried so much about self-publishing because it was new, to where I really didn't have a choice. There was no KDP. It was try to traditionally publish or go through a self-publishing company. There was no do it all yourself. So yeah, it's definitely gotten easier.
Much.
A lot easier. I don't know firsthand because 10 years ago I was 4, but
oh my god. Like whenever I hear you say things like that, like, I'm sorry, but my first thought is, if I were a more rebellious teen.
Yeah.
I mean, no, at this point, if I decided to have kids in my 20s instead of going to college, my kids would be your age. So that makes me feel incredibly old.
oh gosh.
And beyond that, it's kind of a bit sentimental for me, because I know when I was your age, all I did was write. Like, I was writing all the time and sharing my stuff with my classmates. Actually, at 14, I was in 7th grade, so that was secondary school. One of my biggest fans was my geography teacher. She would ask if I'd written anything else and would read during class. It was fun. And I remember I was writing a book about a female bullfighter. It didn't make much sense. It was a story of revenge, by the way, because someone had drugged a bull and the bull had killed her father, and she was looking for the men responsible and also finding bulls in the arena, because that's a thing that happens with women a lot, really a lot. And this was like a historical piece, so it really happened. It could happen. But yeah. Jesus, some of the things I wrote, man. But yeah, it's nice because I mean it drives the point home about how things have changed, because you can start in your early teens and decide writing books is a career you want, and you have all the resources and the support to do it. It's not like something that people only regard as a hobby or
Yeah.
something you do on the side, but you also need a proper job, which is pretty cool. I'm glad we're at this point already. Kind of gives me hope for the future. to be frank.
Yeah, it's funny. Like those Jazz and my daughter will sit there and write, and I'm at work going, "I hate you both. You're at home writing," and I'm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on lunch break. I'm like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we're just talking about this story or that story." I'm like,
Yeah, it's so funny because when Kira is a normal human and is sleeping, then I'll just write with Amber. Like, I don't know. I just think it's really cool that when one of them is busy, I can be like, fine, I'll steal your mom then, or fine, I'll steal your daughter then.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, and it's nice that you get to share that. Like,
yeah. I mean, my daughter's 12 and she's writing full-length stories, so it gives me hope, like you said, that she won't have to worry about getting a job and try to juggle them both. She can do her
yeah,
dream right away.
yeah, she can just do this and look at it as a career from the get-go, which is pretty freaking awesome, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I knew I could do this at that age, but I mean, come on, like, Amazon didn't exist.
Yeah. So say
The
for us,
internet.
there was no options.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of think that it was also a sort of I'm trying to word this in a way. It was a mentality issue, because
Yeah.
no one thought of writing as a career, because most writers were something else. They were professors or teachers or engineers or doctors or whatever first, and then they were novelists and poets and I don't know.
Yeah. The only writers were journalists.
Yes, the only career writers were journalists, which explains my choice of university, obviously. um, but I mean, had I known more about this at that point, I probably would have just skipped journalism, went into foreign languages, and just started writing in English sooner. Because the only reason I started writing again and writing in English, like writing fiction, I mean, was that I was going to this writing retreat, and the coaches were like English from England, basically. Uh, so I thought, like, I can't go with something written in Romanian. That's besides the point. Why would I even do this? And so I started writing what was the first iteration of Alexa's story, but it had changed a lot by the time I got to a full novel. And that's how I started. And it was mostly like something fun and relaxing to do for me. It was purely a hobby. I never thought it would be my full-time career, not even at that point. But this was back in 2007, 2008. So yeah, 10, 11 years ago, when Amazon wasn't that much of a thing in terms of self-publishing. So yeah, I kind of wish I knew about this earlier, but then on the other hand, I don't think my writing would be what it is today if that were the case. I'm not sure, because I guess a lot of my experiences inform the type of stories and characters and settings that I write. So had things been different, I'd be a different person. So that's a moot point in a way. But it would have been nice to be doing this from earlier on. It would have spared me a lot of headaches, let's say. Because I mean, I started working in university because working in high school is not a big thing here. I mean, it kind of is now, but when I was growing up, not really. Working teenagers were not a common occurrence, let's say. And I did do the whole corporate job after university for like 7 years, I think. And after that, I'm out, man. Like, this is not for me. I need to work on my own before I turn feral and murder people. It's fine. Can't do this. Jesus. So yeah, it would have been nice if I'd known I could just start writing. You know, like do that. It's fine.
That's kind of the hope is that by the time I get this done and then we move, of course I'll have to find a job right away, but is that slowly I can take less time from working and more time writing.
Yeah.
And make that a full-time thing and get my company going, and because there will be a lot more creatives where I'm going than here, and so
yeah, I mean that's really helpful, and for me I found that online more than anywhere else, but it helps when it's people close to you that you can actually talk to in person as well. It's really great what we have online because we kind of created our small community, and that works great, but sometimes it works if you have real life persons around you to do stuff with. Even in terms of simple things like writing schedules for those of us who sleep at night. I mean, Jazz, this doesn't apply to you, but I'm so happy that I found a few indie authors that are from here, from Romania, because I can write with them in the mornings. Which let's face it, mornings are like dead for the rest of the world. It's too early in the UK. It's afternoon in Australia, and everybody in the States is asleep.
Yeah.
Not you, but you're not on Facebook. You're on Hangouts where I never go. And I have to have people prodding me on Facebook that you're messaging me on Hangouts because I get no notifications for that. So I'm like, damn. Like the only time I use Hangouts is for live chats. Oh god damn. By the way, guys, newsflash, they're shutting down Google Plus soon.
Really?
Yeah. They've announced it last year. And they kind of rescheduled the date. I think it's happening earlier than they first anticipated. I think it's April. They said it had
like never a big thing though, so like I don't care.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't have that many users. It's not a really well-used platform. I'm not exactly sure why. I really am not.
Why? What? That it's not big?
Why Google Plus didn't take off?
Oh.
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, I can't figure it out. In some ways, I feel like it's better than Facebook in how you can manage things and how groups work and engagement in groups and stuff like that, because they didn't have the same weird algorithms that decide what you should see for you, which I find annoying about Facebook.
Yeah.
But I guess the point that Google Plus showed up, people were kind of tired of the same type of social media network, and then Instagram and Vine and stuff like that showed up, and they got more popular faster. I'm guessing. I don't know, but
Well, yeah, and those platforms kind of already took away a little bit from Facebook, so to
yeah,
take more away from Google Plus too would be probably too much for people to do.
yeah, true. And I mean, Facebook bought Instagram relatively fast.
Yeah.
And it's when Instagram started to become less of my favorite because they've pretty much used the same stupid algorithm, which annoys me. Like, I don't want you to decide for me what I'm seeing. I have to have the option to just see everything based on the time it was posted, and that's it. It's fine. I can make choices for myself, but they have to make money, and that's their business model. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm hoping Hangouts they don't touch. But I'm thinking as it's embedded with YouTube and it's a separate thing, it won't be affected.
Mm-hmm.
They better not.
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking of now. I'm thinking for in the future.
They can wait until I'm 18, and then I can get everything else. And then it won't matter. But they have to keep it for a few more years. And then I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm still kind of bummed that Yahoo Messenger no longer exists.
Yeah. You and me both.
I don't even know what that is.
I haven't been using it for years, but it's something that was around for so long. I've used it so intensively that it feels weird that it's completely gone. I don't know.
But it was the only interface that, like, you could text something to a home phone number and actually have somebody call you and say, this person said this to you.
Oh, yeah?
If you didn't have a computer, you could still get a message.
That's pretty cool, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I would be
I never
grounded
used
on the computer sometimes, and my friends would be like, hey, meet me here, and, like, text it through Yahoo Messenger to my phone number, and I would get the phone call.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I've never used that, to be honest. But
yeah, that's how we got away from me being a bad kid and getting grounded.
Yeah, no more internet for you. I don't care. Somebody will call me.
Yeah. Yeah, this lady would call and she'd be like, you've got a Yahoo message from so-and-so. Would you like to hear it? And be like, it'd be kind of like it's like call. And you're like, well, yes. And then like a 10-cent charge would end up on the phone bill. And they'd be like, what's this for? I don't know. Never seen that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know. Let's find out together. Let's investigate. Let's be detectives.
Yeah, because it wouldn't come up and say Yahoo Messenger. It would just say unknown call, 10 cents.
Yeah.
So it was too little of a charge to be like a collect call. So they didn't know what it was.
And now they know.
Yeah.
If they watch your YouTube channel, now they know.
It's like my mom's in there asleep, so she's thank God doesn't hear it. I'm sure she knows by now.
Yeah.
But,
same. I was thinking the same thing, that by now she should know, but it's fun.
Pretty much everything. It was just my dad who always grounded me for the stupid stuff.
Oh God, yeah. There's always that one parent.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just like every time technology changes, there's always a way to, I don't know, quote unquote, jailbreak it. Like with Messenger, it was that, and then now most phones you can actually do something and jailbreak them, and so it's all about learning the technology and then taking it a step further.
Pretty much. I mean, in theory, if you have a Kindle Fire tablet, you have to go to the Kindle store to install apps, but it's an Android, so you can actually install Google Play.
Unless you jailbreak it.
No, it's not a jailbreak. It's not. It doesn't even work as a jailbreak thing.
Well, yeah.
Because it's an Android and it's just Android apps, but you don't have to go to the through the Kindle store, which is great because the only problem with the Kindle store is that they don't have the same apps.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, pretty much everything can be worked around these days.
That's
Which
why I
is
don't get
pretty
why
cool.
some people do like the simple covers on Kindle, like the creator, or on KDP is like the creator covers, because there's so much technology to learn how to do your own covers or find the images and have, like I did, I don't know how to get the copyrights for this. Hey, could you help me out and make this cover for me? And as long as you know what to look for and look for deals and stuff, you shouldn't be spending thousands of dollars.
I still don't understand that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I understand paying like $600 for a full pack, like for a book, like for your ebook and your paperback and whatever, when you're working with someone who's really good and they're good from a marketing standpoint, and this will be genre appropriate and work. I don't understand that when you have the money and you have a complicated cover, but you don't even have to do your own covers, man. Like, I know a lot of designers that are freaking awesome and don't charge an arm and a leg. It's just.
Have you guys seen that terrible thing? Okay, I'm sure you've seen it going around on Twitter where they were like, something about being broke and not being able to afford an editor.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were pretty much like, wait to publish your book, or just like a whole bunch of terrible things. They lost like 10,000 followers. Like, it was ridiculous. I'm gonna pull it up to try to see exactly what it said. I'm not gonna say the person's name. But
Yeah, I saw you said something about it, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think, like I said, I got lucky on this book that I had a college professor that actually teaches English that I knew that could edit it for me. But yeah, I don't ever suggest getting a book out there that hasn't been on some level professionally edited.
Yeah.
Even if it's proofreading and you get somebody else to do the plot and the developmental, or just developmental, and run it through 4 or 5 different apps to punctuation and stuff, like, there's no excuse for that to me.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
Even you, I mean, Elena, you publish multiple books a year and you still have them go through somebody to have fresh eyes.
I do work with an editor, and for some of them I had an editor and a proofreader until I realized that I can get even better results with read aloud, because I hear when it doesn't sound right. And I catch a lot of typos like that, but that's after editing. And I am going to try to work on edits with my boyfriend for the plot and development part, because he's good at that. But I still have someone else read my stuff. Yeah. Because, like, I know editors who don't self-edit.
Yeah.
Because you sometimes just don't see things.
Yeah, you're too invested to, or
your mind just your mind fills out some blanks for you.
Yeah.
And then you don't realize those blanks exist because you know the story too well. But then again, there is, I mean, if you're decent at writing and grammar, and you have some decent beta readers and critique partners, and you really don't have the funds, just publish. Just get some people to look at it, though. Because I know of people who did that in the beginning and they still did great. And because the stories were great, the writing was good, they had nice covers, and people enjoyed them. And as they got some money in, then they edited with actual editors. It's not that they did no editing at all. It's just that maybe it wasn't a professional editor. It's pretty much like the idea is to put out the best book you can possibly put out there and have it look like it's professional. I think that's the basic idea.
Right.
Because there are
I looked for
budget.
the
Sorry.
I looked for the tweet and cannot find it, so she must have deleted it.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's a screenshot somewhere, so I'm gonna try to find it.
Yeah, that's all good. Okay.
Like, she literally lost 10,000 followers over it. Like, it was like the rudest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's
Wait,
crazy. I've never
she
heard of
lost 10,000 followers?
Yes.
Well, if she has 10,000 followers to lose,
There's
she has a pretty big audience, right?
She's not really that big at all. Like, everybody thinks she just bought her followers because she doesn't have like a lot of active followers, like at all. So everybody's thinking she just like bought her followers, which kind of makes sense, but
Yeah, but if she lost that many, if she had bought them, that doesn't.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I know she probably has some. I don't know. It doesn't make sense how she has that many followers, honestly, because she like. I don't know. I think she's just like an editor or something. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
No, I mean, I've never said it had to be a professional spend $1,000, big something, but
yeah,
I mean, you always need that fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
But
preferably let it be an editor because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just faster. Like when you use an actual editor, it's faster. That's the truth, and you have the knowledge that they know what to look for. Because if you're using like beta readers or critic partners, they might have a sense that tells them something's not working here, but then they might not be able to pinpoint why.
Right.
For example. Plus, I feel like an editor, like you can use beta readers if you want, but I feel that in that case, it would be more of an emotional edit than anything. It's most feeling based than knowing what works and doesn't work in a story. Because if you have someone who just dislikes unlikable characters and your main hero or heroine is unlikable, they'll say it's crap. Not necessarily valid editing. It's an opinion. Right. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a tricky issue because if you go by the perfect book concept, no one should publish. If you go by the good enough concept, then a lot of things become very gray.
Yeah.
And what you can and can't do. I mean, if your book is shitty and you misuse words and there are typos on every page, then you publish too soon. Basically. How you get to not having a shitty book is your business, but get there somewhere, somehow. That's how I see it, anyway.
Yeah, because like an editor is going to be able to tell you where things are missing and what type of things need to be added versus, like you said, a beta reader is going to be like, yeah, I didn't really like it. I don't know why. Or
I mean, it depends because it depends on what type of questionnaire you send to your beta readers because you can lead them in the right way and you can get a lot out of that. But to be fair now, I've seen books with rounds of beta readers and professional editors of multiple sorts, and at the end of the day, the story is still crap. I've also seen people who don't edit their books, not because they can't afford it, but because they don't trust editors anyway and they don't take their advice. And guess what? They sell well. I find problems in those books, but they sell well. They sell off the shelves. They make a full-time living out of that. So at the end of the day, it's a question of what your readers will accept from you. And as long as you always work on improving your craft, making your books better and making your covers better, I think people care more about the quality of the story and type of characters you present. And yeah, not everyone is a grammar expert to spot all your typos.
Well, and I've never read a single book that doesn't have, at least one or two. So
yeah, there's no such thing.
Yeah, it's
there's no such thing because it's not. I mean, it's a human thing. You have to take into account human error. There's no such thing as a perfect human being, and even if you use multiple people, because I remember at my editors, at my publisher, we had the first editor on the project that we did 2 rounds of edits with. Then the second editor, we did another 2 more rounds, and then the proofread. And there were still typos. Because people are flawed in different ways. They have things that they miss that are different. It's not that they all miss the same thing, it's that they miss different things. So you just don't catch them all. So it's fine. I mean, like, there's no such thing as perfect book. But I've read a lot of books where I found typos, books from publishers, books from indie authors, but as long as it's not to the point where it's jarring, or it's so often that it takes you out of the story, I think it's pretty fine. I'm pretty lenient with that as a reader. Not as much as an author. I always strive for less typos, but yeah. It's weird how you can be a lot more accepting as a reader than you are as a writer.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
You just see a whole lot more.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm just talking from my own perspective because I'm way more lenient with other people's books than I am with mine. Which not always a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely you always want the best for your stuff, but you're like, yeah, I'll let that pass. But I think the one I can is like, there's been 2 books I read in the last year that have the word these ones or those ones, and I literally stopped reading the book. Like, that is like, I can't do it. That's so grammatically wrong. I can't hear people say it. I can't read it. I thought it was just a saying thing, but apparently it's a reading one too.
I mean, yeah, we all have our pet peeves. Like, my pet peeve is with apostrophe S instead of simple S for plural. If I see that, you've lost me.
Well, hopefully mine doesn't have any of that.
I mean, no, you can figure out if it's one error at some point.
Yeah.
Or if it's a thing that they keep using throughout the book. Like, you can tell if it's an actual error or a typo where people were just going through too fast and the apostrophe came in, or if they use that constantly for a plural.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
If you don't know that the plural should be a simple S, then we have a problem. Like, definitely. Let it be, dog.
He just can't get comfortable.
It's okay. I think his little paw is having issues again because he had like a fungus last summer, last spring actually, and we treated it, and I think it's getting back, which is
Well, spring is coming.
yeah, I have to take him back to the vet and see about it because,
Oh, poor baby.
not sure yet. I'm going to I have to monitor him a bit and figure it out. It's not life-threatening or too big of a deal, but it's not great either. And it needs to be addressed. Which way? Nice. I was hoping to postpone all of these things until after the surgery, but it's fine.
When do you have to go
It's
back
fine.
to surgery?
I'm supposed to go and get an X-ray in early May and get a checkup, and based on what the X-ray looks like, we'll see about the surgery. But around May, June.
You got a little while.
Hmm.
You had me thinking it was coming up sooner.
I still have like
Few months.
March and April, so 2 months and a half to 3.
So I know, let's see, we've got my book came out today. Jasmine's will be out in May. When's your
Yes.
next one coming out?
My next one is tentatively scheduled for February 28th. And
book 5?
yeah, it will be just Don't Book 5. It's called Don't Rule Me Out, and it starts a new story arc that I have 3 books planned for. And I'm working furiously on the cover. I just have some finishing touches to put on it. And I've written about 60% of it. And I think I'll wrap it up early next week.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the plan. And then I will have about 2 more in March, like book 6 and 7. And pre-orders for the Owl Investigation series, which I'm planning on starting to release in March, because that's a wide release, a rapid release that's wide. So that's going to be
Fun time.
You're gonna have so much fun.
Now so
yeah.
bad we're not closer. I can come give you oxygen.
Like, see that the doggo is taking care of me. It's fine. What do you want? Oh, he wants to go to bed. That's what he wants. He wants lights out. I know. It's late, baby. Yeah, I know. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna let you go because I know it's late there. And
yeah.
I posted something the other day, but I guess nobody could come during the day for the US here. So
For what? For the stream?
yeah.
Oh yeah. It's Sunday, right? No, it's Saturday.
It's Saturday here.
It's Saturday. Yeah. I know. I made it. Like, I'm so happy I made it. Because we were talking about it, and I was so out of it that I was convinced it was starting at 11 p.m. my time. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I think it's because my brain got stuck on 11 p.m. from the conversations with Tamara.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sure that's why, but But I did struggle. I mean, it's shameful that I had to struggle to stay up until 9 p.m. But in all fairness, I did wake up at 3 a.m. for Sarah's stream, so
Yeah, because it's been a long day for you, so I can understand.
yeah, it's okay. I'm glad I could be here. Congratulations again, and I have some books to finish, but I think I'm getting to your book this month, which is pretty awesome.
No, you're fine. I look forward to hearing your opinion.
Wait a second. Let's get the money shot here. Where are you, man? No. There's dog hair on my. Hey, look, here it is. Ah, it went away. What the hell? Come on. What is wrong with you? Yeah, about this book, thank you. Now show me the cover again. I swear to God, my Kindle. There it is. Yay!
Yay!
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, it looks nice on the tablet because it's pretty large and everything.
Oh, I like
The thing is that when you open a book in the Kindle app, it shows you the cover for like 30 seconds and then it sends you either to acknowledgements or the first chapter.
Yeah. I wish there was a way to change that so you could like either make it stay open longer or
This is what the first chapter looks like if you want to see it, people. Go get your copy. Yeah, there's no way to set where it starts.
yeah,
It's automatic. It's automatic, which is kind of annoying sometimes, but you know, whatever. We deal with it. So yeah, congrats again. And when's that? Are you serious about launching the second one in the series next year?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna make February my launch month for each one.
Oh well, who knows? Maybe you make it every 6 months though.
In other words, she wants the next book now, even though she hasn't read the first book.
Right. I would
Yeah.
love to do that, but that puts me right about the time we should be moving. So at least the next book will be next year. We'll see after that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I do get that. But you know, take it from me, people are impatient.
Well,
Like if I
me
were
know
to,
how the first one goes, then we'll see.
yeah, no, I will. But yeah, I mean, come to the dark side. We have cookies. Publish more often.
That is the hope.
Yeah,
I just
it's
gotta
fine. I mean, like I'm starting on my nagging early because I have a lot of payback.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So okay.
Well, thank you for joining us, Alina and Jack.
Thanks for having me.
And for all of you watching this after the live stream, thank you for watching. Leave comments down below. You can order the assigned copy by either emailing me or there's a form down in the description. And otherwise, the links to Amazon for the ebook and paperback are there as well. So until next weekend on Dana's channel for her book release, we will see you guys there.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.